guys, it's Caitlin and welcome back to my channel. So I'm back with another book video. I haven't posted in so long. So today's video is actually a fun one. I've never really done a video like this on my channel, but it is a book tag. Steph Bohrer, one of my favorite YouTubers ever, started this tag, and a bunch of my other favorite booktubers have done this tag, and also Reread, another one of my favorite booktubers, added on to this tag. So I'm going to be doing her versions like combined with Steph's. So there's 20 questions in total. I'll try to be as quick as I can, also try my best not to repeat books, as in like say the same ones over and over for every single question. Without further ado, make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment, and let's just get into this fun book recommendations tag. So the first question is a book that you tell people is your favorite. So if some random person were to come up to me on the street and be like, "Hey you, what's your favorite book?" Not that that scenario would ever happen. I would most likely say Six of Crows. I feel like if some random person asked me that, they wouldn't know what this book is unless they like avidly read. So yeah, Six of Crows. Sorry, I'm not really going to be giving like descriptions of each of these books because there's 20 questions. That's a lot to go through. But Six of Crows, I'm sure you've heard of. The second season of its series adaptation has just come out on Netflix, and it was so amazing. I love seeing more of the crows and more of the Shadow and Bone plot. This book is just very close to my heart, and if someone asks what my favorite is, I'm probably going to say Six of Crows or the sequel, Crooked Kingdom. Yeah. These two books are some of my favorites, and yeah, I just love them. Next question is a book that is your guilty pleasure. So just like a book that is objectively not like the best, but you just really enjoy reading it. I feel like you shouldn't really feel guilty for like liking it, especially this one because it is widely loved. But that's Diversion, and the reason I'm saying this is a guilty pleasure is because of how much I love it. Because like a lot of people read this just like for nostalgia purposes, but for me this book isn't necessarily like nostalgic because I only read it for the first time in 2021, and yeah, I guess it will be nostalgic for me someday, but as of right now, it's just like one of my favorite books, and I feel like I shouldn't love it as much as I do. Same goes for the movie. I just love it so much. The first book, not the other two. I like the other two, but the ending, still love Divergent. It has my entire heart. By it, I mean Tobias Eaton. Next question is a book that everyone loved but you didn't. So for this one, I am gonna say Song of Achilles. It's not that I didn't like this book, I just didn't love it. It did not live up to my expectations for it. And I'm not really a Greek mythology person. I mean, I like Percy Jackson, but that's about as far as I'll go. This one just like it was very well written, like very beautiful writing, and it might sound weird, but I kind of want to try reading this again, like maybe next year or something. I don't know, I feel like when I read it, I wasn't like in the right headspace. Like I didn't fully understand. I felt like I was just reading words on paper. It has potential for me to like it if I read it again, but the first time I read it, it was a solid 3 out of 5 stars. I don't know. I was like, did I read the same book as all these people on TikTok who are saying like this is the saddest and most amazing piece of literature they've ever read? Because I don't know, it was alright. The next question is a book that you read the fastest, and I have read books in like a single sitting, but I'm not gonna count those because the ones I have read in like one sitting were like fairly short enough to read in one sitting. So for this one instead, I'm gonna say the Shatter Me series as a whole, because these books are like kind of thick, like not like too thick, and the text is fairly large, but that's besides the point. Shatter Me series, it's a 10 book long series, I think. Some of the books are novellas, like this one. It's like very thin and short to get through, but yeah, just considering the length of the series, I think I read it in a span of like 2 weeks, and for like all those books, I feel like that is very quick. But yeah, and I've also reread that series, and I want to reread it again because it has my whole heart, and I don't think this is gonna be the last time I mention it in this video. Okay, question 5 is a book that deserves more hype. So for this one, I'm going to say if this gets out, whenever someone asks me like a book that I think is underrated, I'm always gonna say this one because I just want someone else to read it. I feel like no one that I watch on like social media has read this book. Maybe like one person, which was the person that recommended it to me. This book is just so underrated. I gave it 5 stars. It was actually my favorite book that I read in the year 2022, last year. It's just an amazing masterpiece. And I know I said I wasn't going to say what any of these books are about, but since this is an underrated one, I'm going to tell you. So think One Direction fan fiction, but better and actually well written. No offense, Wattpadders. But yeah, this is about 2 members of a boy band who fall in love and have a secret little forbidden relationship while they're on tour around the world. They go to like Paris, London, all these places, and they're like the biggest boy band in America, so like they have a lot of fans. And yeah, if this secret relationship gets out, there will be consequences. Not that there should be, but considering the place they are at and like the struggles with their management team, with their parents, with coming to terms with themselves, yeah. I hope that sold you. It's so good. It's so good. I got fruit snacks. Next question is a book that is becoming a movie or a TV show. I've watched this tag like by so many creators and I feel like all of them say Daisy Jones and the Six, but I am not gonna say that because I want to change things up. And that has already come out, and I want to answer this question for one that hasn't come out but is in the works, and that is going to be Red, White, and Royal Blue. I recently read this in February and it was really good. I don't know why I put off reading it for so long. It was good. It's not like the best thing I've ever read, but it was really fun. And I think this will make a great adaptation. They've already casted it, and it's definitely in the works, and I think it will be coming out next year maybe, or this year. I would say next year. I think this will be a great movie. Next question is a book that you've reread the most. So I am someone who loves rereading, and this was hard for me to like figure out which book I've reread the most because a lot of books I have read 2, 3, even 4 times. So I'll say a few. I'm not going to say the ones I've read twice because there's a lot, but I have read Diversion 3 times, and it's kind of funny because I read it twice in the same year. Like I read it for the first time 2021, read it twice last year, and I'm maybe gonna read it again this year. It's just it's so good. It's so good. I've already talked about it in this video, so I'll shut up. But I think the book that I have reread the most is the Land of Stories series. This is my childhood. Ignore how far the tabs are sticking out. Just disregard that. But this entire series I think I've read 3 or 4 times. This book I think I've read like 5 times maybe in my entire life. It is precious to me. Maybe I've read it even more than that. I don't know. I've read this book a lot, but whenever I like don't feel like reading a new book, I'm just like, comfort series. Yeah, it's just, it feels like a hug. These characters feel like family to me, and I just love it so much. Oh my gosh. And whenever Chris Colfer publishes new books that are like in the same world, like he published a graphic novel a couple years ago, there's a whole spin-off series too. I just get so excited because I just want to be back in this world, and I hope it is not finished. I don't think it is. I think I'll come out with more. Oh, another one I could also say for that question is the Heartstopper graphic novels. I've read them a few times online on Webtoons and also from my library. I don't own them, sadly. I want to so bad because I want to reread them again because I could read those books over and over again. They take like 45 minutes to read, not even, because they're graphic novels. They're super short. You just like look at the pictures, read the words, and then watch the TV show because it's amazing. I watched that show like an unhealthy number of times, like I think at least like 7 or 8, and it hasn't even been out for a year. A book from a genre that you don't typically read but ended up loving is the next question, and I'm gonna say any Taylor Jenkins Reid book. I have read 3 of her books. The other one's Malibu Rising. It's up there somewhere, but I didn't feel like grabbing it. But yeah, Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo is one of my favorite books of all time. Daisy Jones and the Six I absolutely love, and I was just talking about the TV show of this, and it's really good as well. But yeah, I wouldn't even know like what would you classify these books as: historical fiction, literary fiction, just general fiction. Any of those 3 aren't my like thing. I like fantasy, I like romance, I like dystopian. These take place in our world and in a time that I wasn't even alive in, so like it did not seem like my cup of tea, but I had heard so many people on TikTok rave about her writing, and I'm so glad I listened to them because these books are a masterpiece. And once again, don't think this is going to be the last time I bring them up in this video because they're my entire life. Okay, next question, I think we're up to number 9, is a book that deserves all the hype it gets. And for this one, I'm going to say Reminders of Reminders of Him. I literally read this book last week and I have not stopped thinking about it. It is so good and it is definitely popular. Like, it's not the most popular Colleen Hoover book, but it should be because compared to this book, her other books are like, I mean, I like her. We're not going to get into the whole Colleen Hoover debate. Yeah, she sucks, but this book is great. And like I said, I cannot stop talking about Evelyn Hugo. This book is like arguably one of the most popular books to come out of TikTok, as it should be because it's so good. Like, I can't even express how amazing it is. Number 10 is a book you usually recommend when asked to give a book recommendation. And where is it? I have so many books on my floor right now. Okay, found it. The Inheritance Games. I feel like I recommend this book to people a lot. I don't even know. It's just like such a fast-paced, easy read for someone, I would say, who like isn't a reader. I mean, everyone is a reader if you read books, but like who doesn't read very often and is just looking for like something quick and easy to read. This one I would say is so good for beginners because the font is big, so like it's 350 pages, though like words are pretty big, so it's a little less than that. The chapters are so short, they're like 2 pages. Some of them are like literally, yeah, like 2 pages, 3 pages. So like when you finish a chapter, you're like, oh, I'll read one more, and then you're like, oh, I'll read one more, and before you know it, you've read like half the book because it just is so quick. And there's so much like that I feel like people would love in this book. So like there's like a romance, love triangle between brothers, there's mysteries, there's puzzles, there's riddles, there's great characters, there's like a mansion setting. It is just everything you would want in a book. And yeah, whenever someone like that I don't really know what they are into asks like, oh, can I have a book recommendation? Not that very many people ask me that, but if they were, I would say like The Inheritance Games if you're just looking to get into reading something quick and easy. Number 11 is a book that has your favorite characters in it. So, I already said Land of Stories, but I'm gonna have to go with this again. And I also, oh, where is it? Oh, I also already said the Shatter Me series, but these books, guys, like, they are everything to me. Land of Stories holds some of my just like characters that raised me. That's as cliche as it sounds. And Shatter Me series has Aaron Warner, Kenji Kishimoto, and Juliet Ferrers. Yeah, emphasis on the Aaron Warner. I'm so sorry. Number 12 is a book you wish you could live in, and I have to say this one, guys. Like, if I could be magically transported into any book, it would be this one, as the characters in this book do get magically transported into a book. But yeah, I want to live here with all these fairy tale characters. It's so good. Guys, just yes. Next question is a book you thought you would hate but ended up loving. And I'm not really one to read a book that I think I'll hate, but I will say there have been a few that I'm like, this doesn't seem like my thing, but I'll give it a try just to get it off my TBR. This one I honestly like thought I wasn't going to like I thought I was gonna give it 2 or 3 stars, but I just had to see what all the hype was about. That book is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and I ended up giving this book a 5 stars, and it was one of the best books I read last year and one of my favorite all-time favorite books. And I actually read it from the library and then added it to my Christmas list because I wanted a physical copy of my own to hold in my hands. And yeah, that's where we're at. So The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, I just have heard like such mixed reviews. Like, people either love it or hate it. Like, I feel like there's no in between, and I ended up loving it, so I can't complain. But yeah, this book is amazing, and I would say give it a try because like you never know, you might end up like me being like, this book doesn't seem like my vibe, and then you absolutely love it and read it in like a day. Next question is a book that made you cry. I'm an emotional person. I cry over many things, but most of those things are, in fact, fictional characters, as sad as that is. That says a lot. But yeah, books make me emotional. I get so attached to the characters in the world, but this book is like marketed as like a sad book. Like going into this, you know that it's gonna be sad. I mean, look at the cover. It's 1,000 boy kisses. There's like literal teardrops or like rain or something on the cover. But yeah, it's a sad book. I can't say why it's sad, but when you read it, you will know why it is sad. And this book just destroyed me. I would like to say it's one of my favorites that I've ever read, but the thing is, if a book is my favorite, I will probably reread it, and this one I physically don't think I can handle rereading because of how sad it is. Yeah. It's really good though. I think you should read it. Yeah. Pulling myself together for this next question. A book you wish you could reread for the first time? Honestly, okay. Heartless by Marissa Meyer. This is, again, one of my favorite books ever. But the reason I want to reread this again for the first time is not because of the pain that this book caused me, because going back to the last question, this one made me quite emotional. It's very sad, but because of the feeling I had, the vibes of this book. It's an Alice in Wonderland retelling backstory of the Queen of Hearts, and we get to sort of see why she is the way she is in Marissa Meyer's lovely writing that I am such a fan of. I have a whole entire little shelf dedicated to her. But yes, Heartless, I just want the feeling of reading it, getting sucked into this fantasy world, getting romance, the ball gowns, the vibes. I've said that so many times. And look at the cover. It's so pretty. I want to read this for the first time again, because like that feeling I had was like no other. Number 16 is a book that you think can cure any reading slump, and I'm gonna say any Natasha Preston book. I've only read 2 so far, but both of them have been very quick and fast-paced reads, but specifically I'm gonna say The Fear. I really loved that book. I read it in January. The plot twist had me shook. I made all of my friends read it. They liked it too. It is just a very good and quick young adult mystery. Natasha Preston primarily writes young adult mysteries and thrillers and like that kind of thing. So if you like mysteries with lots of twists and turns, and that will make you get out of a reading slump because you just want to know what will happen, you won't be able to put the book down, I highly recommend trying a Natasha Preston book because she has a bunch you can choose from. Number 17 is a book you think everyone needs to read. Say it with me, guys. Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I genuinely think, like, no matter who you are, you could connect with this book, you could like it, but then again, there are people who don't like it, and that's okay too. I mean, reading is so subjective, like, not everyone's gonna like the same books, but I genuinely think that everybody should at least give it a chance, at least try it, because it has such important messages, it is so well written, and it just deserves all the popularity that it gets, and I think you should at least give it a try. Next is a book you think would make a good movie or TV show, and this one I'm gonna say the selection, and I don't like this book, but I think I would like it if we got a movie. Like, the vibes of this book is literally The Bachelor, but make it royalty, make it young adult, and yeah, it's fun. It would be a good movie, and they've said it was going to be a movie for like years, but it just never happens. Like, I don't know, it keeps getting pushed back or something. I believe Netflix picked it up, but I don't know. Netflix, get on it. The selection would be so popular, like Bridgerton fans I feel like would like it. I don't know. Yeah, make this a movie. Like, someone's gonna make it a movie soon, right? It was like popular during the Hunger Games Diversion era. Yeah. Also for this question, I'm gonna say, where did it go? The Inheritance Games. I feel like this just has really good potential to be a TV show. Not a movie, but a TV show. And I believe Amazon Prime picked it up. So, yeah. Number 19 is a book you wish everyone would read, even if it is not in their normal comfort zone. So I'm gonna have to say the Lunar Chronicles for this. The first book is Cinder, and I feel like this was out of my comfort zone, honestly, just based on what I heard, because it is classified as a science fiction, but I would argue that it's more so fantasy. Believe what you want to believe, but I think this is a fantasy with scientific, oh my gosh, I can't speak, science fiction elements, but yeah, it's like sort of also in my comfort zone because there's romance, there's found family, there's fairy tales, and I love all that. So yeah, but if you are someone who gets scared when you hear the word science fiction, me too, but I would still recommend this one. because it's barely science fiction. Like, yes, it takes place in space. Yes, there's robots. Yes, there's cyborgs. But there's also lots of romance and fun characters. Number 20 is a book that you will never forget, and I feel like it's only right to say The Hunger Games while it's having its resurgence on TikTok after being put on Netflix for the month of March. Can anyone forget this book? It is The Hunger Games. Come on. Okay, that pretty much wraps up this video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed filming it and picking out the books for these questions. I hope you got at least one new recommendation from me that you can take and read and let me know if you like or if you hate. Sorry if you hate any, but thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you all in my next one. Bye!